Hello, my name is Teresa Robinson. I'm the principal at Lanier Elementary School in Maryville, Tennessee. Our fondest memories of Laural is the smile she always had on her face as she's walking up and down the hall. She owned the hall. She commanded the hall, and her talent each year after year. It was so nice to see her talent grow from kindergarten up to third grade and fourth grade. And each year she got a little bit better, knowing that she was destined for success. Wesley, you're not going to get out of this either. I can remember Wesley as an infant. I was very fortunate to work with his grandmother here at Lanier. She taught 7th and 8th grade with me. I learned a lot, and I got to watch Wesley grow from infant up to the successful adult that he is.
Taz the Podcast, a weekly feature of those that entertain, make us laugh, and make us feel for a better life.
Live from the studio on the bougie bus, somewhere on the side of the road in America. He is the Fruit Loop in a bowl of Cheerios. He's the guy that makes life happen. Taz Cable is Taz the Podcast.
Just like we're in studio, the Young Fables are on Taz the Podcast. Welcome, Laura and Wes. Welcome. Thank you guys for doing it. Well, yet once again, and I screwed it up, and we're not editing that out because no show is ever perfect. Welcome to Taz the Podcast, guys. How's Nashville?
It's good. It's like slowly starting to like open back up. So super fun.
You got a little bit of normalcy coming about you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, as normal as we get.
As normal as we get.
Well, listen, I learned a long time ago that normal is only a setting on a washing machine. So, you know. Well, just a cool surprise. How about Dr. Robinson telling y'all how lucky, how supportive the Greenback and Lanier community is to you guys?
Listen, Lanier is like where I went to elementary school, and it holds such a special place in my heart, and Miss Robinson is like one of those people that I will never forget. So yeah, that was very special for her to say those kind of words about my smiling face.
Excuse me, it's Dr. Robinson to you. You hear me? It does.
I'm sorry,
Dr. Robinson, Dr. Teresa Robinson, please come to check out 3.
I remember her coming to my grandma's house when I was little because she taught at Lanier for like 30 years. And so when
she did,
Dr. Robinson started there as just a teacher,
right?
You know, they would hang out. They were good friends. So it's awesome.
It is kind of awesome. Well, she's had a lot of us in this community, and I'm very fortunate to be from the same community that you are. But something I have not been fortunate to do is participate in American Idol. And Laural Wright, and you haven't heard me sing, but Laural Wright, if you don't know the Young Fables, you're going to know them today a little bit more before. Go to check out their episode with me with Bougie and Fal. It was a lot of fun. We spent about an hour and a half together. I even let the computer die and we had to restart. We had several people listening live, and it's pretty good to bring them back in today and talk about the Fables of the Song. And it's funny, Mom and I were talking about earlier. My mom is with me on set today, and yeah, no, we love mamas. And Mommy Day just happened, so it's just appropriate. But we were talking, it's like, what does the Young Fables mean? And it was really refreshing for me to tell her that, you know, because she knows Laural, she knows your grandfather, and it's really refreshing to say, you know, it's stories and it's songs and it's the Young Fables. So to do this podcast and call it the Fables of the Songs, it's perfect because it's being able to understand what music makes you guys feel like. So what did it feel like when you got your first opportunity to go to American Idol, Laural?
So I've actually done American Idol for about, I don't know, I went 3 times or something crazy, probably more than I should have, but
well, I think you're out at that point.
Yeah.
3 strikes.
3 strikes, you're out, right?
But there's but for you to even get, the thing that I see about it is, you know, back in the day, the lines were long and the people were there and it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And for you to be selected, what did it do because you'd already had a little bit of success with the Texaco Showdown, when you were 16 years old and you got to go to the Opry, or to the Ryman to go to the Opry. But now American Idol, which is a modern day stage of the Opry. Think about it. Kind of.
Yeah.
So how did that, when you first got that first opportunity, how was that versus the third opportunity?
So So the first opportunity of being on American Idol was like, okay, I had to wait in that really long line where it's like thousands of people waiting to sing in front of just producers and like not the actual judges that like we all see on TV. And so then I made it to a certain point that round, and then the second time that I did American Idol, it was like, okay, I kind of had to do the same thing, but it wasn't as intense, and I got a little bit more like of a special treatment, if that makes sense, I guess.
Because they knew who you were at that point.
I almost got like an invite back, if that makes sense.
It does.
And so then made it. I don't even remember how far I made it. But then the third time that I went back, they invited me. They're like, you don't have to wait in any kind of line. I don't even know.
Yeah, they had an appointment for you.
Yeah, there was an appointment. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this.
Oh, you're bougie now. You're bougie now. You're bougie American Idol.
No, so I did it, and then the third time that I did American Idol, I made it to top
48, right before 48, the live rounds.
Yeah. So I got cut right before the live rounds, but it was such a great experience, and I learned a lot. I was in LA for like a time span of like 1 or 2 months or something crazy like that. So being from Maryville, that was a very different experience for me. And yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot, and it's been great exposure for the Young Fables, even though I was the only one that did American Idol. So it's really done a lot for our career, and I'm super grateful for the experience.
Well, you guys are both very humble, and you know, I want to say right here, just in case we picked up, you know, my listenership's picked up just a little bit since we were last together. So maybe we should at least say, like, you know, your love for the art that Wes possesses is the reason that you are the Young Fables, correct? I mean, right? I mean, because you weren't allowed to do the Riders and the Rounds without him and those kind of things, so you made your name one so that he could go with you. Did I remember that correctly?
Yeah, when we first came to Nashville, like when you do a Riders Round, basically it's just like a solo artist with like their acoustic guitar, and then there's 3 or 4 other artists on the stage. And so for me, when I realized that like, oh, well, I'm so different and I'm so much better when I have Wes by my side. It's like, he has to be with me no matter what. So
you're a support blanket, Wes. You're a support blanket.
One of those weighted.
Yeah, weighted blanket with nickels in the corners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm much better with Wes.
Right.
The last time you did American Idol, though, that was like right before we started.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I remember being in LA, and it was right before. So there was about to be a cut, like top 48 to top 25 or 24 or something. And I remember being in tears because I was like, if I do this and I market myself as Laural Wright, it won't be the Young Fables because it confuses your audience. It confuses everybody. I won't be able to do the Young Fables, or I'll have to work very hard to make that a thing.
Right.
So I honestly thought about, like, I remember crying tears to my lawyer and Wes and everybody, like, should I just come home? I don't know what to do because this is where my heart was. But at the same time, it's like I still wanted that experience and that exposure.
And that opportunity that.
And
Yeah.
So it was a really weird time for me. I'm really glad that I did it, but yeah, it was a very trying and challenging time for me.
Yeah, it sounds like
it worked out perfectly though.
It did.
It was like the perfect time where it's like you were on TV for that, you know, a good chunk of that episode, and then, you know, you came home, we started the Fables, and everybody sort of was very welcoming.
Yeah.
Well, timing is everything with anything. Like,
so
timing is everything. So, Wes, and now that we fast forward to the success of the Young Fables, you've had a couple albums out, and Wes, how was it for you guys when you were traveling, and opening for some of these people? And one that stands out for me is because I want to be on Closet Chaos, Sara Evans. I want to be on her Instagram show, Closet Chaos, so bad. And I just want to go
so good.
I just want to go sit in the closet and talk to Sara Evans. I mean, it just sounds like a good time. But how was it?
And she's like drinking her wine. Yeah,
and you know, like if I, you know, not that I'm a daughter or anything, you know, just like I want to be daddy's girl because of the song, but you know, I can't be daddy's girl, but I wonder, you know, like I just want to go be her daughter for a minute and sit in the closet and drink wine with her and listen. I mean, cause it's just fun. How was it? Did you do many shows with her? Did you travel? I just read from your bio, and your EPK that you guys did some shows with her. Did you get to work with her closely, or was it just one of those you could do your thing and you left?
It was one show, but it was a big show.
It was a big show.
And it was awesome. Like, killed it that day. It was so awesome.
Yeah, and it's really cool to say that, like, we got to open for Sara Evans, even if it was just one show. It was.
Well, your list is long for that kind of stuff, though, isn't it? Like, you've been put into some really good opportunities. I mean, we can talk about some more of those too. I know I gave you the list, but what are some of the memories that stand out for you for people that you've been on stage with or opened for or toured with?
You know what sort of blows me away, and this is going to sound funny, when we opened for Chris Jenson, like,
I was going to say the same thing.
Really?
Well, it's because, like, it's like he's so good. You know, we all know Buy Me a Boat and Fix a Drink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he can sing.
It's like those are
it's amazing.
And so for me, before, like, when we opened up for him, we got that opportunity and we're like, oh, heck yeah, we're going to open up for him, of course. But then when we actually got to sit and listen to his show and listen to him live and hear him do, like, covers of songs that people and artists that he loves and admires, it's like, that's when I think we kind of really, like, had a different perspective of him, and, like, we really fell in love with him because it's like, what did he sing? The Footlights, Merle Haggard song. And he sang the shit out of that song. I don't know if I'm allowed to say shit.
No. Well, I mean, you said it 3 times now, but.
No, he was amazing, and he blew me and Wes both away. I remember us standing, like, on the side of the stage being like, what the heck is happening right now?
But do you not think that that's the way that
out of that song?
Do you not think, Laural, sorry about that. You know, I am kind of rude that way, but my show. But do you not think that do you not think that live shows are that way though? Like, you put a lot into the albums when you're making them, but when you're actually making those albums, you're trying to perfect them and master them. But then when you actually get in front of a live audience, you're performing them. So you're not just singing them. So do you not think that was that the first time you saw him live?
It was, yes. And I feel like even for us, it's like, that's like, you can make records and do whatever you want in the studio, but like when you're performing live, that's when that's when you really prove yourself as an artist, in my opinion.
No,
you can show every aspect of yourself. Like, who are your influences? What do you like to sing the most? How are your songs different live than they are from the record? And it's like,
and you can't hide behind anything.
You cannot.
Because
you're right. There's
no right. It's all laid out on the stage there at that point.
Listen, I wouldn't even be worried about the auto-tune. I'd get me one of those fancy karaoke microphones and let the song play. But I'd be worried about stuff, my zipper undone. And I came out of the gas station or somewhere today and my fly was open. And I'm like, gosh, I mean, I could never be on stage like that.
Always try and check that right before.
Listen, honey, I was playing a show at the Tennessee Valley Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee when I was about, 18 years old, 17. And I was wearing this dress and my parents said, you gotta wear underwear because I got a bad habit of not doing that. Listen, I do. And there was a fan right in front of me. And I didn't know, and no one in the front saw it, but the entire band behind me, I know that they saw it all.
They got a peep show. And that was the beginning of your OnlyFans account.
That's right.
Yeah. So listen, let's talk about old songs. That was your most recent, not your most recent, but the most recent release that's been out for a while. What were some of the successes and standout songs from that album that has brought you guys to this point?
Well, I think the big one would be Daddy's Girl, probably. But we did also we did our music video for Half As Good, which turned out great and was like a great opportunity and experience.
Yeah, for Half As Good, our music video that we did for that one ended up on CMT, and they were airing it like on everyone's TV and like all their channels. And then Daddy's Girl was really great for us because, we have a documentary based on our song Daddy's Girl, but we also got to do a live sessions, episode series, whatever, with YouTube. They came to Nashville and they chose us to come do like a stripped down version of Daddy's Girl. So that was like another big thing for us on top of the documentary. So both of those were really exciting.
Well, I love old songs, but you know, in the last little bit, in the last few months, how many months has it actually been? When did you start putting pages together and putting the Kickstart together to this point now?
Oh, it's been a while because we started recording, you know, right when quarantine hit, and that sort of threw a wrench in everything. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's funny that we're doing this today because the actual albums, the CDs came in like probably 30 minutes before we started this.
Today?
The first time. Yeah.
Wait, they're here?
They're right over there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you need a minute?
Oh my God, you should go get it, right?
Yeah, you should go get it.
We need a minute.
Yeah, you probably do.
Go get it.
I'm going to play.
We gotta show Taz.
Yeah, and I'm going to screenshot it too. But listen, I'm going to go ahead and play I'm going to play the Kickstarter video that you did when you guys actually hit your here. We're going to play this right now.
So we woke up this morning and we had to get up at like 5:30 because we were going to the morning show for Ty, Kelly, and Chuck. And we used to do our 10-minute tune there, and whenever I turned my phone on, I kept getting like all these updates from Kickstarter saying that we had like all these new backers, and it was like 5:30 in the morning. I was like, this is really weird. I didn't know what was going on. So then we get to the station. Apparently they had been talking about it all morning.
We have been asking all morning and sharing songs from 10 Minutes from the Young Fables that we help reach their $20,000 goal to make an album. They have a Kickstarter. We are at $19,272. Is there any possible way that by the end of their performance of this 10-minute tune, we could have $728 more in that account from people listening?
Come on!
Yeah.
We play our song and everybody's looking at their phone, you know, updating it and seeing. He's like, stretch it out. Until eventually,
the song's only supposed to be 1 minute long.
We'll do it by the end of the show. The Young Fables, check them out right now.
All three of them, and Glenn and everybody from Nashville, they're like, well, you're going to stay on the morning show and just play and do stuff until you reach your goal. And they kept talking about it.
It was like a telethon for our Kickstarter.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was amazing. I can't believe it.
It's Ty, Kelly, and Chuck. It happened. Now, have we come to 10-minute tune, waking up early, helping us out? You needed $20,000 to make your album, and we just hit the mark.
We hit it and went past it. You guys not only got your $20,000, but you made $58 in tips.
Oh, that was terrible.
When our manager Patrick told us that we could raise $20,000 on Kickstarter, and he was like, he really believed in us, I was just thinking to myself, there's no way we're going to raise that much money in 30 days. And we raised it in under 2 weeks. We actually went over it in under 2 weeks because of you guys, and we realized that we wouldn't be able to do this or like make this record or do any of this without y'all. So we really appreciate it.
You guys have allowed us to make the record we want to make. So we're going to, you know, we've had some ideas of stuff that we thought would just be luxury items, like dreams of ours. Our first one we were thinking of is maybe releasing the album on vinyl. You know, that might be cool, but we got a lot of other ideas too. And if you guys have any ideas, send them in the Kickstarter messages or comments or Facebook or anything. We love to hear what you guys think, because you're helping us make this album. We're making it together.
Thank you guys so much for everything that you've done for us. We really are so grateful. I can't say thank you enough. Hugs.
I think you got me in a headlock.
That's how I
And the way I like them, live, the Young Fables, wonder if we did.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You don't
could try all night to catch my eye. I could act like I didn't notice you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I didn't think that you could top, Old Songs, but I guess Pages has topped it. Tell me, when you guys hit what I want to know is like, when you guys hit the Kickstarter that morning, when you woke up that morning and you had all those new Kickstarter supporters, you're like, la, la, la. And then you go to the radio station, you realize they're behind it. And you guys hit that day and actually exceed by $58. I could see that. I mean, you guys were dumbfounded in the video when I was watching you guys were so like, what? Like, you were so dumbfounded. How did that make you feel at that moment that you had that many people behind you financially to do another album?
It's crazy. Like, I feel like I never take that for granted. You know, where it's like people just being so supportive. It's sort of weird because you make music and you want people to hear it, but to just see that in like a very physical way is so strange. It's like that people actually care. And
I feel like sometimes, I'm sure I can speak for the both of us when I say this.
Well, you will anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Wes said no, and you said you will anyway, so you guys are both correct. But oftentimes, we feel like it's just me and Wes, and we're alone, and we're trying to do this, and we're trying to figure it out. And then when moments raising money for a record, and that's scary, super scary. And then the moment we walked into that radio station, whatever, and then it's all these people come out of the woodwork, and we're like, we are not alone.
You're not.
Are there for us, and we're all doing it together, and that is such a great feeling. I can't even explain it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so weird.
And we're grateful to have those kind of people surrounding us, and all of our friends and family and supporters. That's something that I will never take for granted. Yeah.
Well, and the one thing you don't, and I know that you don't, is your faith, that you don't take for granted. So let's talk about, I just listened to it for the first time before we went live. The second song on your track is House of the Lord. And that song it's got something, James, I can't even think, it's soulful, but it's still, I cannot explain it, because to me it sounds like it's solid, it's speakful, but it's still kind of a sheltered song. It's not the freedom song of the Young Fables. Do you understand? Because you guys are lovey. It's pukey, it's gross, it's nasty, and I love it. But it's so not, gross. It is so gross. But it's not the House of the Lord. When I listened to that, I was like, wow, it's just, I interviewed a guy not too long ago, Chuck Phillips, and he said, he named his album, Act 1, Scene 2. And he did his album to listen to it from the way the vinyls were put together back in the old days. You listen to, right now you listen, you hear all these artists that I've had on my show. You've had, all the artists on the radio station, all the artists that I listen to, and all the artists I grew up from, just randomly rolling through, and here comes the Young Fables. But an old album used to be set up to where you open it up, pull out the poster, the centerfolds, the lyrics, all that stuff, and you listen to the album from start to finish. And he did his complete album start to finish. So I was going to listen to your album start to finish. And the story this tells, if you sit and listen to this album right now, start to finish, it does the same thing that this gentleman was talking about. And for you guys to be second song after Wonder If We Did, and then you go into the House of the Lord, that says a lot, especially when this song is the one that's played. Tell me about House of the Lord.
It makes me so happy that you say that.
Me too.
Because we put so much thought into trying to do that, where it tells it, of course every song tells a story, but we wanted the whole thing to tell a story.
Well, you are the Fables. I mean, and the name of this podcast is the Fables Behind the Songs, and that's what I want, the story. I want to know about House of the Lord. And we are going to run a little long, Laural, so you might as well make a phone call. But
okay.
but the House of the Lord,
I'm gonna shoot a text.
Just tell me about this song, though, because it's a powerful song, but it really gets deep in the story if you keep listening to Over You and Look at Us and a thing or two. Like, you really do get into a fable here.
Yeah, I think that it's, and Laural has a lot more insight on it than I do, but when we wrote it, so we wrote 60 songs from old songs to pages. And so we were paring down sort of the ideas, and we came across the work tape that we had made right after we finished this song, which we wrote with Mindy Smith and Dean Fields, who Dean also helped us write old songs and Eddie's Girl. So we love writing with him.
Right.
And like, it speaks on many different levels. Like, I know it speaks to like a faith-based kind of thing, but also I don't know. It's just visceral too.
It's real, and I feel
it's
like
super real.
And that's one of the things that me personally, like, I wanted to talk about my faith, and I wanted to talk about my loss and my grief and depression and everything that comes along with that. It's okay to feel lost and feel depressed and question your faith when you go through stuff. Like, we're all humans. And I feel like that's something that people don't want to talk about, but those are the things that me and Wes love to write about. Like, we love being real, and there's 3 songs on this record, that I really wanted to be on this record no matter what anyone else thought. And so the first one is She Was Mine. That's the title of the song, and it was a song that I wanted to write for my sister, but kind of like it was like my letter to God, and it was all my questions I had for God, like, why would you take my only sibling and my younger sister from me, and just being very upfront and just kind of asking him all the questions that all of us Christians are scared to ask. I was growing up, I was taught to not question my faith, and I feel like even though we're not supposed to do that, we still do that. Everyone does that. And so then the second song that we were going to write, or that we wrote for the record, was a song about my dad, because after I lost my sister, I lost my dad 8 months later. And I wanted to write a song from his perspective because he died unexpectedly. And it was a little bit more of a shock for me than losing my sister. And that's a different story for a different day.
That's okay.
But, I wanted to write a song for my dad from his perspective because I wanted to feel good whenever I played this song. Kind of like how I feel when I play Daddy's Girl. It's like I feel close to my dad, I feel close to my sister, but I wanted to write it from his perspective. So if I could hear what my dad was saying to me, this is what it would be. Here's the song. Here's the words that my dad would say to me. And then the song right after those 2 songs, I wanted to put on the record, in this order, was a song called
Buried Me Too.
Buried Me Too.
I was like, okay, been here the whole time, and the next one would have to be Buried Me Too.
Yeah, and I wanted to write, I wanted to write it, and with the help of many talented people that helped us write all 3 of these songs. It's like I really wanted to sum up everything that I felt and went through, and all of the things that I've faced with losing my dad and my sister. And I think the big image for me when I hear or play Buried Me Too is my dad and my sister being buried side by side. And it's that is a very hard thing to look at, to grasp, to wrap my mind around. And I mean, that's a lot to lose anybody in your life. And it's I really wanted to bring attention to how I felt losing both of them.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry if I just went on a rampage.
No, you didn't.
Kaz knows we like to talk a lot.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do
and this is the only time I ever do a show that I don't talk a lot, is when I'm with the Young Fables, so it's fine.
I'm sorry.
But I feel like that was a long, that was an important story.
Yeah, it's huge.
To bring back to House of the Lord, we felt like those 3 songs needed to be on there, but we needed almost another one to answer, maybe. And House of the Lord speaks to that in that there is no answer, but there is something to grasp to.
Yeah, it's that is something that my faith and my relationship with God is not perfect. I am not perfect. If you know me, you know I'm very far from perfect.
Yeah, you were late for my podcast, but that's okay.
But that's the one thing that I hold on to that gets me through the day.
Yes, ma'am.
It helps me, I don't know, it just helps me.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about that.
But I could use a song. Why can't you send her in a dream? Put her face in a clouded sky. When you call her home, you left me behind. I know she's yours, but it's short.
So was there something to my Chuck Phillips story that I was saying about playing the album all the way through? Is there more to the story when you leave the song House of the Lord on the album and Over You, Look at Us, and a thing or two, Built for Breaking, and then She Was Mine? Cause if I read those titles, it is kind of like, I didn't listen to all of the songs. I've listened to everything on this album except for Over You and Look at Us. So does this album tell the fable that we're looking for here?
I feel like it hits a lot of the time period between old songs and pages.
Okay.
Where it's like a lot has happened in that
And we didn't
period.
want to write a full album of like depressing songs. Like,
No, and I get that.
That's like something
But I think
that, like I went through.
But yeah, you both went through it together though. We were so closely knitted. But
Right.
do you really feel, the album, I guess it is like you had to, and I'm trying to make something out of the playlist here, but House of the Lord, it's almost like you had to take a break from it before She Was Mine and been here the whole time.
Yes.
And Buried Me Too. But Over You, this song, let's talk about that. And I'm just gonna, and for those of you listening at home, I did something kind of crazy. I came to Wesley's, grandma's, store up in East Tennessee where they're all from. And I've been berating, Laurel's teachers and principals and I couldn't get in Maryville City because I didn't have my card, Wesley, I didn't have my card to get into the Maryville City schools, because I'm a county boy. But since I was in Tennessee doing this, I thought I would go ahead and wrap that stuff in there and I'll figure out how to put this together. But let's go ahead and talk about Over You. How was that? Because you guys aren't over anything. Who are you over in Over You?
That was a strange song, I feel like. And it's something...
Not strange, just strange how it came about and ended up on a record.
Right, exactly. Because we were writing, and, a lot of times, even on old songs and stuff, we write from other people's stories because, you get tired of wallowing in your own. And so we were writing this song with Monet in Maryville, right?
Yeah.
And...
She had the idea.
Yeah, she had the initial sort of, I want to write this song, and we were messing with it, and later, like months and months later, I was thinking about this song. It was like in my head, and I was like, I like this song, but I needed to say something else, and so I started messing with it on the guitar and changed the feel of it totally, and to me that changed the song. It made it more, instead of a like sad, depressing song, it's almost like raucous.
Yeah, like on our first record, the song called Better Hand is very depressing, actually. It's like, I love this person, but whoever he's with somebody else, but I love him, but she's got the better hand. But it sounds like a happy song until you actually listen to the
Until you break it down.
So that kind of has the same feel.
Yeah.
It's like, what's this song about? It feels good, but the lyrics aren't like feel good lyric.
So Laurel and Wes, I just want, Young Fables, you guys are amazing. Laurel and Wes, how can people get pages, the song, the album pages? But wait a minute. Listen, Laurel, you've been crap grinning this whole time because you got your new album in your box and you haven't really been focused and paying attention. So the fact that you're, gleaming over there, how can people get what's in your hand right now? Pages, the new album. How can people get that?
So it's currently not available.
That's what I thought.
For all
Now that we have it, soon.
But now that we have it, you're going to be able to order it on the website. Like if you want the actual copy of the CD that I'm you can go to our website, theyoungfables.com. If you come to a show, like a live show, we'll have them there. But if not, we're going to be releasing each song as a single, like on all streaming platforms.
Gotcha. I love this album, Wesley. I just paid attention a little bit more to you this time, and listening to the guitar and some of the instrumentals that are in all these songs. And listen, you are one talented. I thought Andy Wood was talented, man, but you're really good. Like you're exceptional.
I'm telling Andy.
Don't you dare tell him. I'm trying to get him on the show too. No, please don't tell it. Nobody ever listens to this show, so he'll never hear it.
Not true.
But, guys, thank you very much for taking time to explain Pages and explain the fables behind the song. But now we'll, you guys are going to be hanging out with me kind of soon,
Pretty soon. It's coming up.
We are so excited.
Yeah, and that is developing. King's Family Distillery is sponsoring. King's Family Distillery in
I love King's.
Yeah, in Sevierville, Tennessee, are actually sponsoring the Fables at the 3rd annual We Rock the River. And Rock the River in Yankeetown, Florida, and Taz Cable is the show director. And King's Family Distillery is presenting the Young Fables at Rock the River. You can get your tickets to see the Young Fables at werocktheriver.com. It's $25 for a 3-day festival. Saturday, the Young Fables will take the stage and headlining the show, and on Sunday it's fireworks and the Fables. But don't forget, on Friday, for the very first time in Florida, you'll be able to see the Young Fables documentary and the movie that just came out, and it is actually the first stop on their screenplay tour, and we're very excited to have them in Yankeetown. It's werocktheriver.com. Thank you guys very much, Laural and Wes. Thank you. And for all of you listening at home, for those of you who continue to listen to those that entertain, make us laugh, and make us feel, all for a better life, I'm Taz King.
Taz the Podcast.
I love you all very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now go sing happy birthday. Have a good one. Take care.